The turkey was carved. The wine poured like blood from a fresh wound. When my son Jake looked me dead in the eye and spat, "Mom, just shut the fuck up about Dad's business. It's ancient history." I stared at the silver keys glinting under the chandelier like a loaded gun on the table, my hand itching to grab them. Knowing this betrayal wasn't just words, but the final lock on a cage I'd cracked open years ago in that godforsaken prison cell. Without a goddamn word, I snatched them, stormed out into the biting Chicago wind, tires screeching on the fresh snow of our Elmhurst driveway, and drove east into the night, never dreaming I'd circle back in a stranger's skin to burn it all down. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but mine started thawing in the heat of that holiday hell. It was December 24th, 2025, and our McMansion in the suburbs was decked out like a Rockefeller Center reject, twinkling lights, a 12-foot Fraser for shedding needles on the Persian rug, and enough force cheer to choke a choir of carolers.
Tom,
my husband of 22 years, sat at the head of the table in his Brooks Brothers sweater, slicing into the bird with the precision of a man who'd always known how to cut corners. Jake, our golden boy, 19 and home from Northwestern on winter break, slouched across from me, scrolling his phone like the world's weight was a notification he could swipe away. I'd done 5 years in Logan Correctional for Tom's sins. Embezzlement. They called it $2.3 million siphoned from Hail Tech's R&D slush fund into offshore accounts. But it wasn't Tom who'd taken the fall. It was me, the loyal wife who'd signed the tax forms without a second glance, trusting his whispers in the dark about one-time fixes to keep the lights on after Jake's leukemia scare drained our savings. Victor Hale, the silver-haired CEO of Hail Tech, that biotech behemoth churning out neural implants for the one-percenters who wanted to enhance their edge, had patted Tom on the back and handed him a promotion. "Family first," Victor had said at my sentencing, his voice smooth as Kentucky bourbon, eyes like polished obsidian. Bullshit. It was always about the empire. Prison had been a slow bleed. Women like me, middle-class moms who trusted the wrong suit, didn't last long without scars. I learned to spot the guards with grudges, the inmates with axes to grind. I read every law book in the library, pieced together the paper trail Tom had buried. Victor's tech wasn't just enhancement, it was experimental. Black budget stuff, consciousness transfers. They whispered in the yard. Swaps between bodies for the elite to dodge death or debts. I'd laughed it off as cell block folklore until a former Hail Tech exec, doing time for insider trading, slipped me a USB drive. Schematics. Emails. Proof that Victor had orchestrated my frame-up to silence Tom's loose lips. Parole came last spring, early for good behavior. Tom picked me up in the BMW. All apologies and air freshener smiles. But Jake had changed. Freshman year had turned my wide-eyed kid into a Hail Tech intern, mentored by the devil himself. Victor had taken him under his wing, flying him private to Silicon Valley summits, promising a future in neural mapping. "Dad's a hero. Mom," Jake had texted from a Gulf Stream. "Victor's the real deal." That Christmas Eve dinner was my shot at the truth. The table groaned under sides, cranberry relish from a can, green beans limp from the steamer, while Bing Crosby crooned White Christmas from the Sonos. I waited until the grace, Tom's voice droning about gratitude, before I laid it out. "Jake, you know why I went away? It wasn't a mistake. Your father and Victor Hale, they pinned it on me to cover their asses. That money, it funded experiments. Swapping minds like outfits at a costume party." Tom's fork clattered. Remy, not tonight. We've moved on. His face. That familiar map of laugh lines now etched with something sharper. Begged me to fold. But Jake? He slammed his palm down. The crystal water glasses shivering. Jesus.
Mom.
You're paranoid. Victor saved Dad's job, saved us. Shut the fuck up about it. The words landed like a slap. His eyes, my eyes. Green as spring grass, cold as the snow piling outside. The room spun. Betrayal isn't a single stab. It's 1,000 paper cuts from the people who should bleed for you. I saw it then. The secret they'd buried deeper than my appeals. Tom had confessed to Jake years ago, grooming him into the fold, turning my boy against the ghost I'd become. Victor's influence, slithering through boardrooms and bedrooms, had rewritten our family script. I was the villain now, the bitter ex-con spoiling the eggnog. My chair scraped back, the legs howling on hardwood. Merry Christmas, I muttered, snagging the keys from the bowl by the foyer mirror. Tom's Remy? Wait, chase me? But the door slammed like a guillotine. The cold hit like a wall. Wind whipping flurries across the cul-de-sac where neighbors' inflatables bobbed like drowned corpses. I fired up the SUV, Tom's pride and joy. A black Escalade with heated seats that mocked my frostbitten fingers and peeled out, headlights carving tunnels through the whiteout. Interstate 90 stretched east, a ribbon of black ice under sodium lamps. Chicago's skyline loomed behind, a jagged crown of glass and greed, Hail-Tucka's tower piercing the clouds like a middle finger. I cranked the heat, but the chill was inside, gnawing at the raw edges of what I'd lost. Jake's voice echoed, "Shut the fuck up," twisting like a knife. How had I raised a son who'd side with thieves? What lies had they fed him while I rotted? The storm thickened, wipers slapping rhythmically, a metronome to my unraveling. My phone buzzed on the passenger seat, Tom's texts, "Come back. We can talk. It's snowing hard." For Jake. I let it ring, voicemail filling with Jake's pleas. Then anger. "You're embarrassing yourself." The road curved, visibility dropping to yards. A semi loomed from the fog, horns blaring, and I swerved too late. Metal screamed, glass shattered, the world flipping in a ballet of pain and darkness. I died that night, or so I thought. But death isn't an end, sometimes. It's a goddamn trade-in. When awareness clawed back, it wasn't my body. No ache in my neck from the whiplash. No metallic tang of blood. Instead, a crisp king-sized bed in a penthouse that smelled of sandalwood and scotch. Sunlight slanted through floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Michigan, the water a steel mirror under a January dawn. My hands, his hands, lifted, veined and manicured, a Rolex heavy on the wrist. I bolted upright, heart hammering, and caught my reflection in the vanity, silver hair slicked back, jaw like chiseled granite, eyes that had stared down senators. Victor Hale. What the fuck? The voice was his baritone, commanding, the kind that closed deals over Davos stakes. But the thoughts? Mine. Remy's. Panic surged, a tidal wave crashing through alien nerves. I stumbled to the ensuite, marble cold under bare feet, and retched into a basin that probably cost more than my parole lawyer. The mirror lied, Victor's face, mid-60s but Botox taut, sneered back. I probed the skull, smooth, no scars from the crash. My crash. The USB drive's whispers rang true. Hailtech's crown jewel, Project Echo. Not just enhancements, full consciousness transference. Victor had been testing it on volunteers, the desperate and disposable, swapping souls like poker chips. But why me? Why now? A tablet chimed on the nightstand. Notifications piling. Board meeting at 10. Quarterly earnings spike. A text from Tom Reynolds. Victor. Jake's excited for the mentorship lunch. Thanks for the opportunity. His fingers trembled as I typed back. Muscle memory guiding the lie. Then, deeper dive, encrypted files, echo logs. There it was, timestamped 12:47 a.m. Christmas Eve. Victor, en route from a gala, had ordered an emergency transfer. His body failing. Undisclosed pancreatic shadow. Docs said 6 months. My crash. Intercepted by his private medevac team. A Good Samaritan pull from the wreck. They'd scooped me, wired me into the prototype rig at a black site clinic off the lake. My mind into a shell, his. Where? I laughed. A hollow bark echoing off the walls.
Dead. Probably.
Or digitized, waiting for a new ride. Either way, I'd been reborn as the monster who'd caged me. The irony was a razor, slicing deep. But beneath the terror, a spark ignited opportunity. Power. The keys to Hailtech's kingdom, dangling from my new neck. First things, assess the arsenal. Victor's closet was a walk-in vault, Zegna's suits, Patek watches, a safe with bearer bonds, and a Glock 19, oiled and loaded. His calendar, power breakfasts, SEC back channels, a discreet consult with a senator on neural privacy laws. And family ties, Tom.
My Tom.
Listed as trusted advisor, with notes on Jake's potential asset status. They'd been grooming him, folding him into the web. I dressed, silk tie nodding like betrayal, and descended in a private elevator to the garage. The Bentley purred to life, a far cry from the Escalade's growl. Traffic parted for the tinted windows, cops waving through like old pals. By 9 a.m., I was at Hailtech HQ, that monolith of chrome and glass in the loop, where drones buzzed like mechanical bees and security scanned retinas with a whisper. The boardroom was a Shark Tank, suits from Goldman, VCs with private equity fangs. I, Victor, strode in, the room snapping to attention. Gentlemen, ladies, I said, voice booming without effort. Q4 numbers are a wet dream. Echo's phased rollout hits 200 units next quarter. But we're not here to pat backs. I flicked the remote. Screens blooming with projections, neural swaps for execs dodging burnout. Military apps for continuity of command. Lies. All of it. The real juice was in the shadows. Swaps for criminals evading feds. Oligarchs cheating death. Questions flew, regulatory hurdles. FDA whispers. I parried with Victor's charm, laced with Remy steel. Regulations for the timid. We are the future. Laughter rippled. Deals inked by noon. Power hummed in my veins. Intoxicating as heroin. This was what Tom craved. What he'd sold me out for. And now, it was mine to wield. Lunch was with Jake. The text from Tom had said it. Mentorship session at RPM Steak. River North's temple of dry-aged ribeyes. I arrived early, nursing a Macallan, watching snow melt into slush on Michigan Avenue. Jake bounded in at 1:15. All lanky confidence in a Hailtech polo. Backpack slung like a trophy. Mr. Hail, dude. Thanks for this. Dad said you're the guy who can hook me up for the summer gig. I smiled, Victor's teeth flashing white.
Jake. Sit.
Scotch. He waved it off, underage. Still my boy, and dove into chatter, neural nets, AI, ethics. How Echo could revolutionize therapy. Bullshit buzzwords. Fed to him by Tom. I probed gently. Remy's ache masked by Victor's poise. Your mother's accident, tragic. Tom holding up, his face clouded. Fork pausing midair over the fillet. Yeah.
Cops say she was speeding.
Icy roads. We buried her ashes last week. Buried. The word gutted me. Even in this shell. They'd mourned a lie, while I plotted from the grave. She was intense. Always on about conspiracies. Dad says she cracked after prison.
Cracked.
Like I was the fragile one. I leaned in, voice dropping to Victor's confidential timbre. Families fracture under pressure. Son. But loyalty? That's the glue. Tell me, ever wonder what she knew about Hailtech? He shifted, eyes darting to the window where valets hustled Ferraris.
Nah. Man. She was wrong about Dad.
About you. You're the hero here. Hero. The word twisted, a noose tightening. I wanted to grab him, shake the poison out. Scream, I'm your mother. You ungrateful shit. But I played it cool. Victor's mask intact. Good answer. Loyalty pays dividends. We talk shop, his thesis on consciousness portability, irony biting like the steaks jar. By dessert, I'd greenlit his internship. A golden ticket to the inner sanctum. As he fist-bumped goodbye, gratitude shining, I felt the first fracture in the facade. Revenge wasn't just exposure, it was reclamation. I'd dismantle Hailtech from the throne, drag Tom into the light, make Jake see the rot. But first, I needed proof, irrefutable. Courtroom kryptonite. Back at the penthouse, I cracked Victor's vaults. Biometrics bypassed with a thumbprint scan, mine now. Files spilled. Echo prototypes. Test subject screams redacted to data points. There my swap log. Timestamped. With Tom's sign-off as witness. The bastard had watched them wire me in, trading my life for his VP bump. And deeper, Jake's DNA profile. Flagged for enhanced candidacy. Victor's contingency, my son's mind as backup. Should the old man's body fail. Rage boiled. Hot and clarifying. This wasn't corporate malfeasance. It was a dynasty built on stolen souls. I'd start small. Anonymous leaks to the SEC. Whispers to journalists who'd kill for a Hailtech scalp. But controversial? Hell yes. I'd seduce allies with Victor's clout. Bed rivals if needed. Dark arts I'd learned in the yard. No blood. Just the slow bleed of truth. That night, staring at the lake's black expanse, I toasted my reflection. To new beginnings. Victor. Or should I say, Remy. The scotch burned. A promise. The keys I'd taken?
Symbolic now.
I'd driven away from one hell. Now, I'd steer this empire into another. Dawn broke gray over the lake. The kind of January light that makes you question if the sun's just phoning it in. I woke in Victor's body with a start. Sheets tangled like restraints. The dream residue clinging me. Screaming in a sterile chamber. Tubes snaking into my skull while Tom nodded approval. Echoes aftereffects. The log said, phantom memories bleeding through. His life flashing in mine boardroom coups. A mistress in Aspen named Lydia. The thrill of the first successful swap on a dying venture capitalist who'd woken in a 20-year-old's frame. Euphoric and amoral. I showered off the unease, steam fogging the glass where Victor's face leered back. Wrinkles faint but telling stories of deals dirtier than a South Side alley. Today was recon, Tom's office at Hailtech. Mid-level exec row, but close enough to the fire to feel the heat. I suited up, Armani gray, power tie the color of dried blood, and hit the executive garage. The Bentley whispering threats to lesser audits. Hailtech's lobby was a cathedral of innovation, holographic displays of synaptic fireworks. Interns in hoodies ferrying coffee to gods. Security nodded me through, facial rec pinging green. Elevators hummed to the 42nd floor, R&D wing, where the air hummed with ozone and ambition. Tom's corner office overlooked the Chicago River, polluted ribbons snaking through the city's veins. He was at his desk, mid-40s now, hair thinning but ego intact, tapping at a triple monitor setup. Victor, he beamed, rising like a supplicant. Coffee?
Black.
2 sugars. The familiarity stung. Husband to monster. Confidant to corpse. I waved it off, sinking into the leather guest chair that still bore the imprint of my old visits. Back when I was the wife, signing NDAs over lunch.
Tom.
Echoes humming. But leaks, anyone sniffing? I kept it casual. Victor's drawl masking Remy's probe. His laugh was a bark. Too loud. Paranoid as ever. SEC's blind. That whistleblower bitch from accounting got squashed last year.
Bitch. Me.
The casual venom. Tossed like table scraps. He leaned back. Fingers steepled. Gesture-eyed kissed 1,000 mornings. Remy's crash was a blessing. In a way. No more drama. Jake's thriving. Your mentorship's gold. I forced a chuckle. Gut twisting. Kid's sharp. Like his old man. Old man. The lie landed easy. But inside, I cataloged the photo on his desk. Jake and him at Wrigley. Arms slung. No trace of me. Erased like a bad draft. Speaking of any anomalies post-incident, Tom's eyes narrowed. Just a flicker. Anomalies? Like what? Ghosts, I said. Victor's smirk curling. Echo side effects. Hallucinations. He waved it away, but sweat beaded at his temples, till I'd clocked in marriage counseling.
Nah.
Clean swap on the test runs. You're golden. Vic. Intimate. The nickname he'd earned over Scotch nights plotting my downfall.
Why?
Feeling off. Never better. I stood, clapping his shoulder, muscle memory from father-son hugs. Now paternal poison. Keep the faith.
Tom.
Empires reward the loyal. His office door clicked shut behind me. The echo mocking. Next, the Black Site Clinic, tucked in a nondescript warehouse off Halstead, disguised as a logistics hub. Victor's key fob-parted chain-link gates. Guards averting eyes, fear or respect. Hard to tell in this skin.
Inside.
Sterile halls reeked of antiseptic and regret. Techs in white coats scurrying like lab rats.
Dr.
Elena Voss. Echo's lead 40s. Sharp bob. Eyes like dissecting scalpels. Met me at the vault door.
Mr. Hale.
Transfer stable. Her voice was clinical, but deference stripped. Flawless. Elena. Subject. I nodded to the observation window. A body on a gurney. Sheet draped. Monitors flatlining.
Mine.
Remy Reynolds. DOA on arrival. Or so the paperwork lied. Autopsy pending. But we both knew, shell empty. Soul shunted. Integration at 98%, she reported. Tablet glowing with brainwave overlays. No rejection.
But
the source matrix. Unprecedented resilience. Resilience. My prison-honed grit. Now fueling Victor's swan song. I probed. Contingencies? Backups. Her pause was a chasm. Project Lazarus, Youth Protocols. Jake Reynolds flagged. Per your directive. Non-invasive scan complete. Viability high. My directive. Victor's. But Tom's suggestion. The files confirmed. They'd eyed our son as a vessel. A legacy transfer if the old man's ticker gave out. Incestuous ambition. Father pimping son to the machine. Controversial didn't cover it. Ethical quicksand. The kind that swallowed careers and souls. Scrap it, I snapped. Voice cracking Victor's timbre. Too risky. Publicity nightmare. Elena's brow arched. But sir.
now.
The command landed like a guillotine. Her nod reluctant. As I left, alarms didn't blare. But the seed was planted, doubt in the ranks. A crack for leaks to seep. Afternoon blurred into power plays. A call to Lydia. Victor's aspen flame. Voice husky over speaker. Darling. Reschedule Monaco. Chicago's calling. A ploy to mine her pillow talk for dirt. She purred compliance. Oblivious to the wife hijacking her lover's line. Then. The real work. Anonymous drop to ProPublica. A burner email with redacted echo specs. My frame-up docs attached. Follow the bodies, the subject read. Controversial? Leaking classified neural tech could spark congressional hearings. But pinning innocence? That was the hook. Evening brought the first test of the mask. Family dinner. Tom's invite to debrief at our old Elmhurst home. The McMansion loomed. Lights on timers. Snow shoveled to crisp ridges. I parked the Bentley curbside, ostentation to humble the hybrid in the drive, and rang the bell, heart pounding in Victor's broad chest. Tom answered. Tie loosened. Domestic armor.
Vic.
Come in, Jake's got stories from the internship. The foyer smelled of lasagna reheating. Rosemary and regret. Jake bounded down. Fist bump ready. Mister. Hail. Killer lunch. That neural demo? Mind-blowing. We settled in the den, leather recliners circling the gas fireplace. Flames dancing like lyres. Tom poured Glenfiddich. Neat. And they launched, Jake on synaptic bridges. Tom nodding like a proud puppeteer. I played along. Victor's anecdotes weaving in. Swapped a hedge funder into a triathlete's rig last year. Guy's outpacing his alimony now. Drawing laughs that mask my nausea. But Remy's instincts itched. Midway. As Jake fetched seconds. I cornered Tom by the wet bar. The Reynolds woman, Remy. Her end. Clean? His pour faltered. Amber sloshing.
Vic.
Why dredge? Cops ruled it accident. Brake lines?
Nah.
Black ice. Brakes. The word hung. A noose. Victor's logs. A maintenance alert on the Escalade. Ignored. Sabotage? Or sloppiness from the man who'd buried evidence for a living. Tom recovered. Clinking glasses. Water under the bridge. To family. I toasted, but the scotch soured. Jake returned. Plate steaming. And the charade resumed. Talk turning to Echo's therapeutic arm. Swaps for trauma victims. Irony laced every word. Here I sat, a trauma incarnate, toasting my erasure. Night deepened. Excuses made, early flight, Victor's lie. As I drove back to the penthouse, city lights streaking like accusations, the plan solidified. Controversial decisions loomed. Seduce Tom with insider trades. Bind him closer. Then snap the trap. Leak more. But targeted, frame Victor's instability as the source. Absolve the foot soldiers. And Jake? Groom him to rebel. Plant doubts about his mentor's God complex. But sleep evaded. Victor's bed a throne of thorns. Midnight brought a ping. ProPublica reply. Cautious, intriguing. Sources. I fed crumbs. Anonymous. The hook set. Then. Deeper dive. Victor's safe. A hidden partition. Photos grainy. Timestamped.
Me.
In prison jumpsuit. Visiting day.
Jake.
Toddler then. Waving through glass. And a letter. Tom's script. Vic.
She's digging.
Frame holds. But kid asks questions. Your call. The betrayal layered. Onion skin deep. They discussed me like livestock, auctioning my silence for stock options. Rage crystallized into strategy, high-stakes poker. My new face the ace. Next days blurred into a frenzy. Board votes swayed with Victor's, my fiat. Diverting funds from Echo to philanthropy shells eyed empty later. Lydia arrived, red-eye from Vale. Her body a yoga-sculpted temptation in Kashmir. We dined at Alinea, molecular gastronomy mocking my gut's churn. Then back to the penthouse, sex as interrogation. Her moans punctuating confessions. Tom's ambitious, she whispered post-coital. Fingers tracing my Victor's chest. Pushing for your seat if you fade. Jake's the leverage, boy's a prodigy. Leverage. My son. Pawn in their chess. I rolled her off. Feigning sleep. Mind racing. Controversial? Betting the mistress to get the husband, tabloid gold. But truth's sharper blade. By week's end. Leaks hit. Bloomberg whispers of hail tech anomalies. Stock dipping 3%. Tom called. Frantic. Vic. Containment. I soothed. Victor's comma bomb. While inside, Remy plotted the kill shot. The climax brewed in a shadow meeting. Elena. Cornered in the clinic after hours. Destroy the Reynolds logs. I ordered. Voice low. All of them. Her eyes widened. But that's tampering. Evidence of what? A dead woman's fever dream? The bluff held. Her access codes mined by dawn. Files wiped, but backups I'd mirrored insurance. Tom's next dinner invite came laced with desperation. Family night. Jake wants to demo his project. I accepted. The noose tightening. As snow fell anew, blanketing the city in false purity, I geared for the turn. Revenge wasn't destruction, it was revelation. Forcing them to swallow their sins whole. February's bite sharpened. Winds howling off the lake like banshees mourning the lies we'd all swallowed. Victor's body moved through the days with predatory grace, Pilates at Equinox with finance bros. Schmoozing at the economic club where tariffs were foreplay, but Remy's soul chafed. A blister under bespoke loafers. The leaks had teeth now. Wall Street Journal op-ed questioning Echo's ethical black box, citing anonymous insider concerns I'd seeded. Hail tech stock wobbled at 87. Analysts sniffing blood. Tom texted hourly. Damage control? His VP polish cracking like cheap veneer. I played the long game. Victor's calendar a weapon. A retreat at the peninsula, ostensibly for strategy sessions, but really to isolate Tom. Jake tagged along. Team building, I pitched, his eyes lighting like a kid promised Disney. The suite sprawled, lake views mocking the storm clouds massing. We arrived Friday dusk. Valets scurrying, the air thick with promise and peril. Tom checked in first, harried from calls. Vic. Press is circling. That Wall Street Journal piece smells like a grudge.
Grudge. Mine.
Amplified through proxies. Paranoia.
Tom. But when?
I handed him Crystal, watching his hands shake, once steady in my marriage bed, now fumbling felonies. Jake burst in minutes later, laptop under arm, buzzing about his demo, a VR sim of consciousness mapping, Echolight for academia. Dinner room service, foie gras, wagyu melting like buttered sin. We circled the glass table, city lights winking below. Jake launched, screens projecting neural webs pulsing blue.
See?
Synapses as highways, swaps reroute traffic without crashes. Poetic.
My boy.
But blind to the wrecks beneath. Applause from Tom. Proud papa. I leaned in, Victor's gaze appraising. Brilliant.
Jake.
But real world? What if the drivers? Unwilling. He blinked. Fork pausing. Unwilling? Like,
consent forms cover that.
Tom coughed. Redirecting. Ethics later. Vic. On the leaks, your take. I sip Bordeaux, letting silence stretch like taffy. Someone close. Knows too much. Eyes on Tom. His flush rising like mercury. Remy. Maybe. Her ghost stirring shit. Jake snorted. Mom? She was nuts. Prison broke her. Broke her. The dismissal ignited. But I banked it.
Victor's smile a sheath.
Nuts or not, she had access. Papers.
Chats.
Ever wonder if she left breadcrumbs? Tom's knife scraped porcelain. Vic. Drop it. She's gone. The pivot came post-dinner. Jake excused to tweak code, leaving us by the fireplace, gas flames flickering like faulty synapses. I poured seconds, voice dropping to confident timbre. Tom. Level with me. The frame clean? No loose ends. His eyes darted. Scotch sloshing. What the hell? Vic? We buried that. Buried. Echo of my funeral. But body surface. SEC's digging. If Remy's docs float. Panic creased his brow. They won't. I handled it, shredded. Wiped drives. Everything. Pressing. Remy's intuition threading Victor's menace. He deflated. Whisper harsh. The USB. She smuggled one out. But Jake. He doesn't know. My son. Collateral in cover-ups. Tell me. Tom spilled. Scotch loose. The drive. My prison ally's gift. Intercepted post-parole. Victor, me now, had tasked him with retrieval. A home invasion masked as welfare check. They'd snatched it from my hidden drawer. Jake distracting with college tales while Tom rifled. Betrayal squared. Husband thieving from wife. Son complicit in the charade. Rage simmered. But opportunity gleamed.
Smart.
But if copies exist, they don't. Desperation. Hook set. I clapped his back. Brotherly. Then we're golden. To loyalty. The toast sealed it. His relief palpable. As he stumbled to bed, I texted Elena. Accelerate Lazarus scrub. Full audit. Jake's demo ran late. Us three huddled over his rig, VR goggles syncing brainwaves. A digital ghost of self projected. Try it, mister. Hail, he urged, strapping me in. Pixels bloomed. My Victor's mindscape unfolding, memories as fractals. Remy's bleeding in, prison bars morphing to boardrooms. Tom's face twisting from lover to liar. I yanked off, feigning awe. Son, you're revolutionizing regret. He beamed, oblivious. Bedtime stories inverted, me tucking him in with whispers of doubt. Your dad's a climber.
Jake.
Ever question his climbs? Yawn dismissal.
Nah.
He's solid. Like you. The retreat dragged weekends, hikes in frozen Grant Park. Bonding over kale smoothies. Me mining their fractures. Tom loosened. Spilling echo dirt, test swaps gone wrong. Subjects catatonic. Disposed via relocation. Jake absorbed. Idolizing. But crack showed, a late-night confession over poker. Dad pushes hard. Feels. Off sometimes.
Seed sown.
Monday return. Leaks escalated, CNN tease. Biotech giant faces, soul-searching scrutiny. Stock cratered 12%. Emergency board call. I chaired from the jet back. Voice steady. Controlled burn. Restructuring incoming. Tom's office post-landing. Apoplectic.
Vic.
This is sabotage. We trace it. Inside job. I cut in. Planting. Someone with your access. His face strained.
Me?
After all I've proven. Soothing. Then twist. Unless. Remy's allies. That USB clones? Paranoia bloomed. His alliance fraying. I left him stewing. Pivot to Jake. Campus drop-off. Northwestern's lakefront quad dusted white. Coffee at Klipsch. His treat.
Mister.
Hail. Internship deets. En route. Then. Casual. Heard from your mom?
Post.
Everything. He stiffened. Stirring foam. Ghosts don't text.
Why?
Curious. She saw things. Hail-tech shadows. Laughter bitter. Shadows? She saw conspiracies. Dad said, Victor, you saved us from her mess.
Saved.
The word weaponized. Did he? Or used it? Eyes narrowed. First spark of fracture. What? Power corrupts.
Kid.
Ask questions. Start with the drive. Confusion clouded, but lodged, the thorn in his trust. Weeks churned, power consolidated. I betted Lydia again. This time in Monaco Dieter, yacht off Monte Carlo. Her confessions deeper. Tom's affair with her. Post-prison. Consolation prize. Jealousy unused. Fuel for the fire. Leaks mounted. Forbes expose on Echo ghosts. Vague but venomous. Protests outside HQ. Ethicists chanting souls aren't stock. Controversial decisions mounted. I greenlit a whistleblower amnesty. Anonymous tips funneling to me. Dirt on execs. Including Tom's padded expenses. Then. The gut punch. Seduce an SEC mole. A sharp brunette named Carla from Drinks at the Gauge. Her hotel room yielding regulatory roadmaps. Dark? Immoral? In Victor's world.
Currency.
Remy's code recoiled. But survival demanded it, ends justifying means in a means-to-end game. Tom cracked mid-March. Cornered in my Victor's office. Blinds drawn against Spring's tees. Vic. I can't swim this. Resign. Run. Mock horror. Fight. But truth first, Remy's end. Break lines. Silence. Then crumble. Not me. Your order. Post USB snag.
Loose end, you said.
Medevac pulled her. But the rig. Needed urgency. My order. Victor's. But Tom's hand on the wheel? Sabotage confirmed. Layers peeling to bone. I feigned shock. Victor's thunder. You? After loyalty. Family, he whispered. Jake. The irony choked family. The altar of our sins. Fix it. Confess. Partial. Echo cover. Not the frame. Eyes wild. Jail. Or deeper. Threat veiled. Alliance shattered. He bolted, leaving me to the window. City pulsing below. Jake called then, voice edged.
Mister.
Hale?
Found something.
Dad's emails, Mom's drive. What the hell? Harvest time.
Meet.
Truth awaits. The climax brewed in shadows, a safe house off division. Neutral ground. Jake arrived wired. Hoodie hiding trembling. Dad's lying. About everything. Files spread, my mirrored backups. Tom's confessions transcribed. Your mother's no ghost.
Jake.
She's the canary. Tears. Then fury. You knew. Worse. Revelation poised. But held. Twist for the kill. Tom burst in. Gun drawn. Glock from Victor's safe. Stolen? Back off.
Vic.
Chaos. Jake shielding. Tom's aim shaky. He framed her, us. Betrayal boomeranged. Tom shot wild. Grazing my arm. Victor's blood. Hot and wrong. I disarmed him. Remy's yard moves in exec frame. Pinning him as Jake watched. World crumbling. Cops? No, my call. Private security swooping. Echo incident, the report read. Tom's arrest swift, embezzlement.
Manslaughter in via accident probi di najd.
But the high, Jake's allegiance.
Raw. Mom.
She'd be proud. Prouder if you fight. Handshake. Son to stranger. Hale tech teetered. Board ousting unstable Victor. Me. Pension golden. Shadows to fade. Leaks peaked. Full expose. My anonymous finale. Empire gutted. Yet, as spring bloomed, doubt gnawed. Victor's memories surged, not ghosts, but truths. The swap, not accident, but bargain. I'd initiated. Prison desperation. Smuggling plea to Victor. Save me. Take my shell. No, wait. April showers hammered the city, turning gutters to rivers of regret, mirroring the flood I'd unleashed. Hailteka's tower loomed skeletal now. Scaffolds crawling like insects over glass scars from protest stones. Stock at 42. Bankruptcy whispers in the wind. Tom rotted in Cook County pretrial. Bail denied after the accident. Forensics hit. Brake fluid drained. Timestamps tying to his garage log. Jake had vanished into dorm isolation. His thesis scrapped. Last text to me. Need time. Truth hurts. Hurt. The understatement of swapped lives. Victor's penthouse felt hollow. A gilded tomb. I'd liquidated assets. Offshores to untraceable NGOs. Philanthropy, my exit narrative. Elena Voss. Poached by a Boston rival. Left a parting gift. Echo master key. Full reversal code. Tempting to shed the skin, Reclaim mine from cold storage. But Remy's body? Autopsied. Cremated per wishes. Ashes scattered by Tom on Lake Michigan. Poetic justice denied. Lydia bailed post-scandal. Her tabloid tell-all pending. The tycoon and the toy boy heiress, no doubt painting Victor as the villain. Me the ghost. Fine. Let them spin. Truth was thornier. The twist hit like a neural spike. Mid-May. Rain lashing windows as I poured final files. Victor's partition. Deeper dive, not just memories, but journals digital, encrypted in quantum hash. Entries from 23, Reynolds woman approaches. Prison conduit. Offers intel on Tom's slop for commutation. Agrees to vessel candidacy. Me, approaching him? Flashback bled. Logan Yard. 2 years in. Despair's bottom. My ally's USB not gift. But bait. Fed by Victor's plant. I'd smuggled a note. Desperate, know the frame. Trade silence for out. But deeper. Test subject? Your tech. My mind for freedom. Insane bargain. Born of bars and broken dreams. Victor bit. Grooming the swap as mercy. Pull me from crash. Shunt me to power. His cancer a convenient out. But the reversal? One-way ticket. My shell too compromised post-trauma. The truth inverted. I wasn't victim reborn. I was architect. Trading soul for vengeance. Controversial? Complicit in my cage. Leveraging echo to claw back. Had I framed myself deeper? Or liberated? Debatable. The gray swallowing black and white. Jake resurfaced Memorial Day. Unannounced at the penthouse, face gaunt, eyes hollowed by truths.
Mr. Hail. Vic.
Dad's plea, 30 if he flips on you. On me. Bitter laugh. Pouring IPAs from the fridge, Victor stocked craft. Ironic for a soul swiper. We sat on the terrace. Lake choppy under gray skies. Chicago's fireworks distant pops. He says you orchestrated Mom's fall. The swap, your escape. Half true. The blade twisting both ways. Your father's no saint.
Jake. But me?
Let's unpack. I spilled Remy's bargain. The crash pull as contract fulfillment. I was dying inside. Prison. Betrayal. Your dad's ambition fed it. Victor offered a door. I kicked it down. His beer foamed over. Grip white. You knew? And let him rot me in. Thought you'd rise above.
Lie.
Partial. Hoping he'd mirror my grit. Not fold. Tears tracked. I told her to shut up. That night. If I'd listened. Regrets echo. Mine too. We all have lines.
Yours blurred mine.
He stood, pacing slate tiles. What now?
Sue?
Expose. End it. I slid the key fob. Echo rig access. Reversal's myth. But records, burn them. Free the ghosts. Hesitation. Then nod. We drove to the clinic, abandoned now. Hail Tekka's retreat, gates ajar like an invitation. Inside. Consoles hummed on backup. Screens ghostly. Jake hacked adjunct. Youth from dorm raids, I navigated Victor's ghosts. Logs purged. Prototypes smashed, hammers on circuits. Sparks like dying stars. Alarms wailed late. Security ghosts. We bolted. Rain slicking escape. Laughter manic in the Mercedes. Mom would hate this, he gasped. Or love it. Both. The duality. Our inheritance. Summer scorched in. Me fading Victor. Hair dyed salt and pepper. Beard shadowing the jaw. Persona shifting to consultant in a Lincoln Park walk-up. Jake transferred to UIUC. Distancing the dynasty. Tom's trial loomed July. Plea deal crumbling as my leaks testified. Anonymous affidavits pinning echo sins on Victor. Tom's complicity as dupe. Courtroom drama unfolded sans me. Feds parading docs. Elena turning states. Jake's deposition gutting. Dad chose power over us. Verdict, 25. Conspiracy and fraud. Manslaughter tossed for lack of direct. He glared at the proxy I sent. Lawyer's clerk. Mouth forming Victor?
No.
Remy. Post-sentencing. Jake visited the new digs, studio sparse. Bookshelves heavy with ethics, tomes I devoured. He's appealing. Says you're the snake. Snake shed. I hugged him. Awkward in this frame, father to son. Mother reborn. Go live.
Kid.
No empires. He left with a nod. Door clicking soft. Solitude settled. Debatable victory. Hail tech carcass carved for reform. Echo buried under regulations. Happy? Tom caged. Jake free-ish.
Me.
Ambulatory ghost. Tragic? I'd sold my soul twice, once to bars. Once to bites ending hollow. Questions echoing. Fall leaves turned. Crimson accusations. A letter arrived. Tom's script via contraband. Knew it was you. From the eyes. Burn in hell. Remy. Confirmation. The final twist. He'd suspected post-swap. Playing along till the fall. Debatable end. Justice or Pyrrhic. Villain or vigilante. I burned it in the sink. Flames dancing like Christmas candles.
Outside.
Chicago breathed. Hustle eternal. Grudges the pulse. I'd taken the keys. Driven into storm. Return not as victim but vector. Shut up? Never again. The lake called. Eternal witness. I walked its edge at dusk. Victor's stride mine now. Waves lapping confessions. Revenge's aftertaste. Ash and absolution. Bitter brew. Worth it? Ask the mirror. Remy's fire in stolen eyes. Or don't. Some truths demand debate. Lingering like smoke.